welcome to 2023. So yeah, welcome to 2023. We've got a couple of things that have happened in the new year. Started the new year off with a bang. 3 molts. We had actually 3 spider molts, some other things molted as well, but the spiders that molted, we had our... We'll go look. So we had our GBB, which was our first ever spider in the collection. That one presented us with a molt. First thing in the morning, I was driving down to Kent and I saw this had flipped over just before I left, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to catch it. About 7:30 in the morning. It didn't actually start doing anything on its back till around 1 o'clock, 1:30 it started twitching. So I've got some footage of that, we'll go over that in a minute. Our little Sungaia stick insects. This is the first molt I've actually managed to retrieve from there without it being eaten. Those things are growing nicely, so thank you very much to Mr. Paul from Ants Rambling for those. They are growing nicely. I've got to rehouse them actually because they're growing a little bit quick. Anyway, back to spiders. That was the other thing that molted. Back to spiders. We have in here, I think if it'll focus, there we go. We have our Ceratogyrus merendilianis has molted. It was off its food. Where is it? There it is. It was off its food for a couple of days, and I noticed this was out on New Year's Day, so I need to get that one out in a second. And lastly, we had our Tapinochellis. What is it about? Tapinochellis Rasti. It's the Rasti, the Caribbean diamond anyway. That one has thrown a molt just there. So I've got to get that one out as well. So that was on New Year's Day. So I'll get these out. What we need to do is put this in some water to soak. So let's get my water and then we'll be back. Right, so in goes the GBB. That's just some warm water with some washing up liquid. I'll push that down in a second. Let that soak up so we can just get it spread nicely, and we're going to get the molt out of here and the molt out of here. So 2 seconds. I'm just going to put the camera on a tripod and then we're going to get those out. Right, let's get this molt out of here, shall we, without getting the spider all pissed off. This one's well bolty, so it's going to be fun just to get its molt. Stay there, dude. Job done. The only reason I've got this elastic band round on here is this Repsidue enclosure for some reason has decided to bow that way, so it's just to keep the lid on the runners more than anything else. Right, let's put them back. Let's have a look at the Rasti, shall we? The Rasti. Oh, here we go. Down a little bit lower. Let's see if this Rasti's going to let me grab the molt without running off. Should be alright. Yeah, no drama. No drama. I would actually give this one a little bit of water. They like it humid. They like to bolt. But as always, just a few drops on the glass. Without soaking it too much, but it likes it humid. Right, let's put that one back. Right, let's get this. Oh, it's already pushed down. It's soaking, good. And what we're going to do is, whilst this is soaking away, we'll chuck that one in there as well. And for a giggle, we'll put the Rasti in there as well. Why not? We'll get the macro lens out on them. Right, whilst that's soaking away, what we'll do is we'll have a little look at the GBB molting, because luckily, like I say, I drove down to Kent on the morning and it was about 7:30. I thought oh, I saw it on its back and I was a bit worried it's going to molt, it's going to molt. Got back home and it was still on its back, hadn't moved, didn't move a muscle, and then about 1 o'clock it started. So we'll watch the video, bit of a time lapse, which we'll put up now. And as you can see from that, it didn't do much. It twitched a few legs and that was about it for about another hour. And then we got this. So that's much better, much nicer. Awesome molt. I did leave the molt in there because even though it wasn't on it, I left the molt on there because I thought, well, you know, they tend to eat them, and I'm pretty sure this one's a male anyway, so there's no point sort of taking its possible nutrients from when it goes and sucks the abdomen, which it did do that evening. It sort of laid on the molt for a few hours afterwards, so I didn't really want to take that away, and I'm glad I didn't in the end. Better to let the spider have the nutrients it needs than worrying about getting a perfect molt out of the back end of it, just for sort of display purposes, if the spider can benefit from having it in there. Right, I think that's been soaking long enough, so what we'll do is we'll grab out, let's grab out the Merendilianis first of all. I'm going to have a look at this one. Literally all we do, you're not going to be able to see much with this, I'll just mess with the cocktail sticks, and what I'll probably do is speed this up just while I'll get these all out, flatten them off, and then we'll have a look at them. Alright, so prepare for a time lapse. And we're back, all spread out, all done. Did destroy this line a little bit, which I'll show you in a second, but obviously that one's a tiny little rasty. We were never going to get much on that one. Unfortunately, a couple of its legs popped off when we lifted it out of the jar, but hey ho, we'll still get a look at it, and look how tiny that one is anyway. Right, let's crack out the phone, crack out the macros, and we'll have a good old look and see how nice these molts are, shall we? So this one's the rasty. As you can see, we can still get a good look at its carapace, even though it is an absolutely tiny little sling, which you can see from where my finger is. That's the carapace there. But with the macro lens there, we can get a good look at it. Tiny little thing, all its little beady eyes. A couple of legs that came off, and there's its body. It's a very leggy spider, very leggy spider. Let's have a zoom out and have a look at that. Yeah, but that's the rasty. I'm not even going to bother trying with the first name again. Right, let's go and have a look at the Ceratogyrus merendilianis. So we have its carapace there and its body completely intact. Now, at this size, I could possibly have a look at the abdomen, but I'm not going to, because as you can see again, it's still really small. I'm not that worried, male or female. so I might have a play with it. If I do, I'll put it up on the notes afterwards, after the video. But yeah, that's the Merendilianis. Right, and the one we've been waiting for. We want to have a look at this. I'm actually surprised the abdomen's completely intact, considering it chewed and sucked on this thing for a good day. I'm quite surprised it's completely intact. So let's have a look at the GBB, shall we? It's looking a little dull because it's still wet, but we can probably get a good look at this under the light. So there's the carapace. I'll flip that in a minute. You know, the inside, it's got like that little indentation where it sort of fixes to its body, and the inside of its eyelets from the inside. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Look at those eyes. Right, we've got all the hairs off the top of its abdomen. Got a little foot, lots of hairs on its legs. Let's trace that up to the body. The book lungs. We'll have a proper look at this in a minute. You've got its abdomen and you've got its carapace. Sorry for the people with that weird thing about holes, but yeah, look at that. That's stunning. Absolutely stunning. Come all the way to its pedipalps. All this hair on all the legs. Yeah, it's beautiful. Absolutely stunning. Right, let's have a look. Let's have a proper close look at the abdomen and get a good look and see. Make sure this one is a male, like I said. So let's have a dive in there, shall we? Let's get the lights adjusted. Right, switch over to footage of the abdomen. As you can see, there's no spermifica there at all. We have definitely got a male there. These are the book lungs either side, the rear set. You can actually see the lungs really properly on this one. Then you've got the front set, which are like there and there. And then we have where we would normally find the spermifica, which would be here. We've got nothing. So we have a male GBB. But that's cool. That's absolutely fine. We know that he was going to be a male anyway. Let's have another little look inside that body. The way it pulls its legs out, its fangs out, the lot. And this looks like its lifeline. The part here that attaches in the centre, that attaches to the top of the carapace, holding their body together, I believe. So it's an interesting structural build on the animals here. But yeah, that looks amazing, doesn't it? Is it just me that gets excited about seeing these sort of things, or does everyone else like this type of stuff? I just find it fascinating, absolutely fascinating. So what did you think about that, guys? It's always nice to start the new year off with a bit of a molt, but for it to be our first spider that we ever got last year, well 2021 actually, November, it's quite nice to have that one actually molt on New Year's Day. It hadn't molted since July. So that's pretty nice. But as we say, it's a male, that's fine. It's a beautiful spider. Not too worried about getting a male. I will get a female further down the road most likely anyway. But yeah, I do like the GBB. GBB is a stunning looking animal. I do like the close-up footage as well. Some of that stuff inside the molts, they're fascinating, absolutely fascinating. So anyway, if you did enjoy the video, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment, what you like, what you don't like, what are your plans for 2023. I haven't got that many plans, but I tend to just roll with the punches. Whatever happens, happens. I haven't managed to resist. I've already put a spider on hold that I've got to go and collect already. So that's a good start to the new year with trying to cut down on building the collection. But yes, what I'm going to do, something that is going to change, the only thing I'm going to do is we're going to have a change in my structure. We're going to do 3 recordings and we're going to do 1 live. So every Wednesday it's going to either be it'll still be an upload, but I'm going to have 3 videos, and one of those, the 4th one, will be a live video on YouTube, live session, a bit like the other channels like Mark, Scott, Phil, Leah, the AKAC group, etc. We're just going to have a chat. I might get some stuff organised with regards to bringing people on and having them as guests. but we'll see how that develops. I'm not sure how popular a live session on my channel with how few subscribers I've got will be, but I'm not doing it for views and likes. I'm doing it for myself, and I will, if I get guests on, I'll get people on that interest me, and so I can record and ask questions that I want to ask and I find interesting. So that's what we're going to do. The only other thing we're going to do also is potentially try and get some footage from other people's collections. So I'm going to go and visit some people, get some footage of their collections, and have a little chat with keepers and see how what motivates them, what got them into the hobby, etc, etc. So if that's something you'd be interested in, let me know in the comments. I do have one big name already interested in doing that, and to be honest, I cannot wait to try and organise a trip to theirs and go and look at their collections, because it will be that'll be an exciting day. Anyway, that's enough of me rambling. So next week's video will be a recording, and the video after that, to fit in with my shift patterns, will be a live, and then it will be recording live, so every fourth one from that point. Right, anyway, I'll catch up with you guys next week.